What's going on, YouTube? Chris here again. Today I figured I'd bring you a playthrough of a game called The Adventures of Darwin. And let me tell you, it is an adventure. Before I even get into anything about this game, let me explain the fact that it is a blue disc, one of the older PS2 games. So if you have an older PS2 that's kind of dusty, or maybe one of the slim ones that you don't have the lens cleaned off, you're probably going to want to use some Windex or something to clean that off really quickly. Or you can always use the tape method as well and sort of just place a piece of Scotch tape, clear or translucent, white, opaque, whatever you have laying around. If you put a strip of tape right along where the E for everyone is, kind of perpendicular to the PlayStation 2 symbol on both sides, then it should run fine. Actually, I YouTubed that myself to figure that out, so there you go. I'm cutting out the middleman for you guys. So anyway, a couple things I want to talk about this game. First of all, the name is amazing. The name tells me so much about this game without even picking it up. I was a science major when I was in college, and the idea of evolution and everything, props to my evolution teacher and Dr. Bierner. If you're watching this, I'm really sorry. But, God forbid I didn't really pay attention. I don't really classify real science as evolution, even though technically after taking the class, evolution occurs every day. It's just small changes that, we don't see because it happens over such a, grand scale. But I'm not going to get into any of that BS. I don't care about that. But the amazing thing about this game is they took one of the biggest figures in evolution and named the game after him. Darwin. Charles Darwin. The Adventures of Darwin. Not quite the same thing. His adventures were on the Galapagos. This is just about a monkey slowly progressing through ape humanoid to maybe that Australopithecus thing, the Lucy, the missing link or whatever, to slowly becoming sort of a hominid, and then a Homo sapien, and then gradually a Homo sapien, and maybe some Homo erectus in there somewhere. It's a lot of homos, guys. That's all I'm trying to say. There is a lot of homos in this game. Not generally. Not literally, of course. Just, I guess maybe the first one is the species. No, last one's the species name. First one is the genus name. Okay. So anyway, basically, a few things about this game that you need to know. Well, when you start out, you're just one little monkey guy running around. And basically, the idea is to grow your monkey village. To grow it and make it as big and prosperous as you can. So, in that aspect, it's kind of like a growth and development game. Kind of like a Civ, Civ 1, Civ 2. If there's any Civ fans out there, man, I'm Civ 4 all day long. I love that game. It was amazing. But this game is more based upon, it is based upon growth and development, but also it is based upon growing your monkey army, if you will. Now, as you go out into these different worlds, there's a jungle and an underground and a river. God, there's always a river, always a water world. Don't they know that we hate water worlds? I don't know about you guys, but as a gamer, I don't care. It could be the simplest level, but adding water to a level, that makes that shit twice as hard. What? There is no need. It's already hard enough. Let's not add the aspect that we might drown. Let's not do it because, God, as a kid playing Sonic, when I started that little 3, 2, 1 dun 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 dun, dun countdown to my death, it was like it was assured it was gonna happen because by that point my heart was racing and I cannot focus long enough to find one of those little bubbles popping out of the ground to breathe. It's not gonna happen. I died 80 times out of 20. Yeah, and I know that's bad math, but it's totally true. So some of the aspects I do like about this game, I like the fact that it is very Pikmin-esque. If you've played Pikmin, you're going to be a fan of this game because it is basically not one and the same, but it has a lot of attributes from that game that play well in this game. Now, as I said, it is about, growing your monkey army. And to do so, you wander out throughout the levels and you find these stars. Now, red stars are actually made to replace members of your party that have died, but the golden stars are what you're really after. The golden stars are the key to progressing in this game. If you can find the golden stars, you'll be fine. Because the golden stars actually add another party member to your entire troop, if you will. And, you know, it makes you more formidable against enemies, or it makes you able to carry larger items. Because another way of progressing in this game, and it's huge because I didn't find this until like 20 hours in, and, well, not that long, guys, but it was a long time. So I basically wasted like 4 hours just trolling around in this game, trying to figure out what the hell to do. So I'm just going to save you guys a little bit of time if you actually make the effort to rent and play this game, which I definitely say you should. It is phenomenal. For an underrated game that I've heard very little about, I've only seen this game one other time in my life, and it was because this weird kid who lived in our town happened to have it. And I never played it because I was just like, that looks lame. I don't want anything to do with that. Do not gloss this over. Do not be a Chris. You see this game at a yard sale, at a pawn shop, at a GameStop. You won't see it at a GameStop, but, you know, I don't know, retro game store, pick it up. It is worth I don't know, $10, $7, whatever you pay, it's worth it. It's worth a good little chuckle. It made me laugh on several occasions. So, back to what I was saying. So, as you progress, or as you grow your monkey-like troop, you can carry larger objects. And a big part of this game is actually taking things that you find out in the woods and bringing them back to your tribal village, if you will, your little monkey hut, I guess, because it's not a tribe if it's monkeys. I don't really know what you call a gang of monkeys. A gang, a troop, a slew, a peck, I don't know. They're a bunch of monkeys, all right, and they live in huts. So you bring the stuff back to them, and that causes your village to gain experience. And basically, as you level your village up, you become, I guess, a stronger village, and more of the things in your village become accustomed to what you bring. Like if you bring a lot of the fruits, like there's like sweet fruit, salty fruit, sour fruit, spicy fruit, tasty fruit, nasty fruit, stinky fruit, I don't know. There's a billion fruits out there. And then as you bring it back, it also catalogs it, so if you taste it and it actually does something bad, like you'll just have to remember it. But if you bring it back to the village, it catalogs it in your little picture book, and then you can read, oh, I don't want to eat that one because, you know, it makes me blind, or it makes me slow, or this one gives me strength, we'll eat this one. You know, you'll know what to eat and what not to eat. So it is a good idea to get these fruits. I didn't really waste the time. I just kind of ate one when I needed to. I just remember the sweet fruit gave you a little life. That's all I remembered. Spicy maybe boosts your attack. I don't really remember though. Okay, so but the way you really progress is you bring back raw materials like timber or iron or rocks, and as you bring back more of one or more of the other, like if you bring back a lot of iron ore or a lot of rocks or even wood, different aspects of your village start to kind of pop up. Like you'll get people who really like timber or people who really like the ore, and they're like super fans of this. And also, as you further progress, you'll get the option to kind of put stock into these raw materials. And it's a good idea, like if you're going to bring a crap ton of the rocks back, to go ahead and invest all your stock in the rocks. Because, you know, you're bringing it back left and right, and it's going to just bump up that village. And a big thing is, in the first level, is where you find your first weapon. It's a, you know, primitive weapon. It's a tomahawk, if you will. And after you find that, you evolve from like a purebred monkey to, like, you know, like I said, I don't know, an orangutan or something a little different. And basically, you know, I thought as you progressed, oh, well, maybe you'll find more weapons because the enemies just get tougher, and the close range little tomahawk doesn't always cut it. You'll find out. I found out on several occasions that there were enemies that if you didn't have a long range weapon, they would just mow you down. They would show you no mercy and destroy you in half a millisecond. It doesn't even matter. And so, as I was saying, back to the progressing of your village, bringing back the materials to your village actually boosts the level of your village. And once it gets to level 8, I think it is level 8 or 9, I think it's 8. Don't quote me on that though, but I'm pretty sure it's 8. But once you get your village to level 8, you actually open up a weapon shop in your village, and basically the weapons you bring in, or the raw materials you bring in, kind of are used to make these weapons. So if you bring in a lot of like rocks, you're gonna get like black stone spear or a diamond spear because it comes from rocks. I guess I don't know, but the thing is, getting your village to level 8 is a huge thing. It's a huge deal because if you don't have the spear or the bow and arrow, like I said, some of those later enemies are just going to destroy your little monkeys, and you're not going to have anything to do with it. So there's going to be nothing you can do. So definitely bring back the raw materials up to a certain point. After you get to level 8, it really doesn't matter. If you want to bring back all the fruits so you can open the trade shop, it really doesn't matter. All the flowers, they like mask your scent or something. But that's neither here nor there. That's totally your call. If you want to do it, that's you. I didn't waste the time. I was already, like I said, I wasted 4 hours trying to figure out what the hell was going on. So I wasn't going to waste any more time getting to the finish of this. I got to the meat of it quick as I could. So another thing that I thought was terrible, kind of good, but also kind of terrible. Like at times you love it and at times you hate it. So, not unlike a lot of other games, this game has a night and a day. And the way they go about telling you in this game, whether it's night or whether it's day, they don't have a clock or anything, normal. They have a picture in the top right corner that you probably wouldn't even notice until like 20 minutes in. And it's a sun. And as the day progresses, the sun slowly, ever so slowly, turns into a moon. And if it turns into a moon, let me just tell you, you do not want to be stumbling around these little jungles or cave, especially the caves and the underground levels, at dark. It's not like the enemies get harder, and it's not like they get meaner or anything. But something about just stumbling around in the damn dark is not a bit of fun. So, unless you want to be like me and, slam your head against the wall as you're trying to find the right path in the middle of the dark, you should gather some materials and just leave the raw material site, whether it be the mine or the cave. Especially the mine and the cave. Those two, don't hang around after dark. It's just terrible. The lighting is terrible. You can adjust your TV screen and it's still terrible. Don't do it. Another thing I thought was kind of bad was the fact that as you progress, like I said, this may have been that I just didn't progress quickly enough because I wasn't bringing back enough raw materials. But as you progress, they actually form a building, like a troop training ground, I guess, to where your troops can actually learn different formations. Because when you start out, they're just kind of like a little gang of dudes like right behind you, a little, clique, rolling deep behind you, if you will. But when you get about 20 guys, that shit gets pretty tedious, and especially if you're trying to go across some narrow passageway like a log and you're walking over the water, hell, they're gonna fall off the side. That happened to me at least a dozen times. So like I said, advance your village because the sooner you get the line formation, the better. You're going to want to keep it on the line formation probably the majority of the game. Rarely did I ever take it off the line, and only if I did, it was because I was attacking or, trying to maul some monster that was trying to get to me. So basically, like I said, the line formation is going to help you a lot. It's going to help you from losing little monkey fellows, little men, Australopithecus guys. It's going to help you from keeping them from falling in the water, keeping them from falling off to their death by getting eaten by something else. It's going to save you a lot of headache from having to walk down if they fall off a ledge, and then you got to walk all the way back to where they are and, wrangle their ass back in and then walk back up to where you were originally going. So the line formation is huge. That is one of the key elements of this game that makes it halfway playable. Now, don't let me detract from the game because the game itself is an amazing game. It has amazing graphics. It's very colorful. It has awesome monsters. Not only do they put it on the cover, but on several occasions you are fighting woolly mammoths, guys. Where do you get to fight woolly mammoths? I do not know, but it is awesome and I loved every second. Now, I don't know why, but apparently they blow steam. These mammoths are full of hot air, I guess. I don't believe that crap. But that's neither here nor there. So, like I said, you get to fight mammoths. That's an awesome aspect of it. You know, I mean, you get to evolve and progress, either way. You get to, like, evolve and progress and see your monkeys kind of change shape and change form as they go on, which is also pretty sweet. Like I said, the night and day is terrible. You know, try to stay out, you know, not past night. The formations, keep it in the line. Also, another thing that I thought was really odd, kind of peculiar, is that only, like, if there's a wooden, if there is a wooden, like, flamethrower, then only wooden weapons will take that out. Now, in what world does that make sense? If I have a wooden, I don't know, a ballista, I guess, a freaking trebuchet, you know, for the layman's people out there, that's a catapult. You know, if I have a wooden catapult and all I have is you know, on me is a metal axe, that metal axe is doing some damage to that catapult. I don't care what it says. Man, and yet this game tries to tell me that only certain weapons can attack certain things. That, I don't understand. And of course, they had to include a water boss. He's a fish, a damn fish. Now, how are you, a monkey, gonna stab a fish when he's swimming around in the water? Well, I'll leave it to you to figure out. I don't want to drop too many hints, but let me tell you, it's a headache. You know, there are certain aspects that make the boss fights easier if you pay attention. That's all I'm going to say. And oh my god, one of the things that makes this game, that takes away from all the bad, is the one thing that makes it amazing. So you're playing through this game, you're growing your little monkey army, you're growing your monkey village, and then, you know, by the time you get to the last level, they're pretty much fully human. I'd say they pretty much are fully human. And they still don't know how to walk upright. The guy's running around, he's leaning back, leaning back, looking like he's doing the nay-nay the whole time, except he doesn't have his hand in the air, because he's grabbing his little spear or whatever. Actually, his hand might be in there, so he might be doing a full-blown nay-nay. I'm not really sure. You might want to look at that. But when you finally get to the final boss, you would never guess what it is. So you walk in this big, like, glass, kind of looks like you're walking on ice, kind of translucent thing, and then you walk into like a coliseum-like structure full of tiles. And there's a guy just standing there floating in the air. You know, he's got the big wispy eyebrows and the staff looking like Zeus Almighty himself. And he gets to talking and you find out he is the creator. The creator. You are fighting God. I mean, that might be a hop, skip, and a jump away from what the game actually says. But to me, when I saw it, I was like jaw on the floor. Pfft, I was fighting God? What? Who does that? That was a phenomenal twist that I would have never seen coming. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert. You know, if you're watching this, you know, it's already spoiled, but you're still going to love it. So don't let that detract from it. Like I said, it has an amazing ending. You fight God, and at the end, you know, he decides to give you one last little piece of technology to evolve your society further, because he was like, oh, I was going to destroy this world, but you guys seem to want it really bad, so I'm going to give you this as like a goodwill of gesture, I guess. You will never guess in a billion years what he gives you. Have you guessed yet? Well, I guess you guessed wrong, because unless you guessed a Colt 45, you were wrong. I would have never saw that coming in a billion years. And immediately after getting the gun, there's just a cutscene, and it just says like 20,000 years later, or how many ever years later, and it is just a monkey graveyard. It is hilarious. Just, oh my god, the idea that first of all, the science-based idea of evolution is totally against creationism, and then you're fighting God as a creature who evolved in the game. Maybe there's some underlying scientific like link there that I might miss. Maybe I'm just drawing my own conclusions. I'm not really sure. I'll let you draw your own conclusions for yourself. But Nonetheless, he gives you a gun, everybody dies off, everybody kills themselves, and it is a phenomenal twist for the ending of a game. Well, anyway, that's all I got this time, guys. So, until next time, you know, comment, like, subscribe below. Comment if you want me to do any shout outs for any video games that you guys like, any of your personal favorites. I'll give them my little review, rant review, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, till next time, keep gaming and keep exploring.